What makes a good life? What makes a long life? What makes a healthy life? The answer may surprise you. The secret is your social life. Brought to you by Health and Wellness Friendly Communities of Ontario, this video presents some of the world's leading scientists to explain why social relationships are so important to our lives, what happens when they're missing, and what steps each of us need to take on our journey towards connection. Robert Waldinger, director of the world's longest and still ongoing study on happiness, in his talk, What Makes a Good Life?
What keeps us healthy and happy as we go through life? There was a recent survey of millennials, and over 80% said that a major life goal for them was to get rich. And another 50% said that another major life goal was to become famous. And we're constantly told to lean into work, to push harder and achieve more. We're given the impression that these are the things that we need to go after in order to have a good life. The Harvard study of adult development may be the longest study of adult life that's ever been done. The clearest message that we get from this 75-year study is this: good relationships keep us happier and healthier, period. So the second big lesson that we learned is that it's not just the number of friends you have, and it's not whether or not you're in a committed relationship, but it's the quality of your close relationships that matters. And the third big lesson that we learn about relationships and our health is that good relationships don't just protect our bodies, they protect our brains. Relationships are messy and they're complicated, and the hard work of tending to family and friends, that's not sexy or glamorous. It's also lifelong. It never ends.
Longevity researcher Susan Pinker describes factors associated with long life.
So what does it take to live to 100 or beyond? As you will see, the answer is not what we expect, going from the least powerful predictor to the strongest. Whether you're lean or overweight, you can stop feeling guilty about this because it's only in third place. How much exercise you get is next, still only a moderate predictor. Did anybody here know that having a flu vaccine protects you more than doing exercise? And getting towards the top predictors are two features of your social life. First, your close relationships. These are the people that you can call on for a loan if you need money suddenly, who will call the doctor if you're not feeling well, or who will take you to the hospital, or who will sit with you if you're having an existential crisis, if you're in despair. Those people, that little clutch of people, are a strong predictor, if you have them, of how long you'll live. And then something that surprised me, something that's called social integration. This means how much you interact with people as you move through your day. How many people do you talk to? And these mean both your weak and your strong bonds. So not just the people you're really close to who mean a lot to you, but like, do you talk to the guy who every day makes you your coffee? Do you talk to the postman? Do you talk to the woman who walks by your house every day with her dog? Do you play bridge or poker or have a book club? Those interactions are one of the strongest predictors of how long you live.
What about your health? Dr. Julianne Holt Lundstedt, professor of psychology and neuroscience at Brigham Young University, describes the health implications.
Perhaps you may have heard the statistic that lacking social connections carries a risk similar to smoking up to 15 cigarettes per day. We need to take our social relationships just as seriously for our health as we do these other things. In fact, the extent to which we are socially connected also significantly influences risk of heart attack, stroke, type 2 diabetes, dementia, and Alzheimer's disease. It even influences our rate of cellular aging, wound healing, and susceptibility to viruses. This isn't just an interesting correlation between our social relationships and health. We have growing evidence of what's in that black box. that explains how it is that our relationships get under our skin to influence health outcomes. Whether it is helping us cope with stress, encouraging healthy behaviors, or discouraging risky behaviors, or providing a sense of meaning and purpose in our lives. Each of these have been directly linked to biological mechanisms that account for these health outcomes. Being more socially connected has been associated with lower depression, slower age-related cognitive decline, greater happiness, and greater satisfaction with life. In other words, nurturing social relationships has the potential to not only increase our length of life, but the quality of that life. This is true regardless of gender, age, or geography. On average, people who are more socially connected live longer. Yet global trends suggest a significant portion of the population is isolated, lonely, or both. What my research has also shown is that when we looked across the myriad of ways in which we can connect to people socially, perceptions of support increased odds of survival by 35%. So what that suggests is that even the mere perception of the availability of support can really go a long way in helping not only our emotional well-being, but our physical health. So it's important to recognize ways that we can still maintain social connections while being physically distant. In order for others to perceive that we are available to them for support, we need to really show others that we are available, whether that be reaching out through telephone calls, leaving notes on the door, dropping supplies off for our neighbors. Just showing that we are available if they need it can go a long way in helping them cope and get through this. So we have this opportunity now to really make a difference, to show that we are in this together, that we can help each other out, and to really find solidarity in this. I need to be a friend in order to have friends. I need to put myself out there to show up, to be part of a community. We can't wait. The time is now. It's time to prioritize our relationships like our life depends on it, because it does.
What would happen if after we leave this room, we all chose to be more kind and compassionate to others? Dr. Julian Abel shares the story of Kathy from Frome, UK, and demonstrates how a community working together can improve health, happiness, and connection for all people who live there.
The other example I'm going to give you is Kathy. Kathy is a 50-year-old businesswoman, very active, who was diagnosed with acute rheumatoid arthritis. It was extremely severe, and within the space of 3 weeks, she ended up in a wheelchair. So she went to her GP and she said, "Rob, I need a sense of hope about that my life is going to be more than how I'm feeling right now. And I would really like to meet other people who are going through similar kinds of experiences." So Rob said, "Well, why don't you go and see Rose?" So Rose is a health connector, somebody who works in Jenny's team on a one-to-one basis. And Rose went to see Kathy in her home because Kathy was struggling to get out because of the severity of her rheumatoid arthritis. And Rose said, "I know, why don't you go to the self-management program, which is a 6-week program to help people manage their disease." So off Kathy went, and of course, she was greeted by a group of people with compassion and care and friendship. And from the self-management program, she went to the on-track group, and from the on-track group, she went to the exercise group, and from the exercise group, she went out into the community and was open to the vast resources of things going on in the community. And you can see Kathy in this illustration where she's in the orange jumper and she moves from the medical centre out into the community. And let's hear from Kathy to see what she felt she learnt about the experience of her illness.
I'm now going out into the community and talking about my experience, and also being able to then signpost people who may be in a similar situation to where I was 18 months ago, and actually showing them that there is hope, they're not alone, that there are people out here who are willing to work with them, help with them, become their friends, and I think that's the most important thing I've learned is that, you know, people who go through similar experiences become lifelong friends. I've met so many people and I've made so many friends that, you know, I'll be there for them and they'll be there for me.
So Kathy, through the experience of her illness, is introduced to her compassionate community. But to me, even more interesting than the possibility of a new branch of medicine of compassionate communities are the implications. And the implications are that as human beings, we are the outcome of hundreds of millions of years of evolution. And compassion has been an important part of our survival. We carry with us this compassionate potential. It's a treasure that is open to us wherever we are, whether we're in our homes, in our communities, doesn't matter, everywhere. And in addition to this treasure, we have the power of choice. We can choose to be more compassionate. So, the science tells us that compassion, love, laughter, and friendship helps us to live longer, be healthier and happier. Imagine if in your town everyone chose to be a bit more compassionate than they already are. Imagine if the 7.7 billion people of the world chose to be a bit more compassionate than they already are. So please, be kind. It makes a difference.